Good. So I'm kind of laughing here. You know, we had talked about coming into the studio today and talking about we had a working title of How to Keep Love Alive, but the energy, my energy, whatever, has just not.
Our energy did not gel very well.
Did not
this
gel
morning.
very well. So
They war for that topic.
So it has been since this morning. It has just been tense. I don't really know why. It's not like you did anything, I did anything. It's just there was a number of things that happened, and we got into the studio, and it's just been feeling like pushing a boulder uphill, and being able to communicate. I feel like there's this sense of just frustration, and it'd be easy to say, well, you know what, today's a wrap. We're not gonna record today. We're not gonna have this conversation. But I thought, no, this is real. Let's have a conversation. Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about what's going on, because this is real life, right? People go through these things in relationships. So whether we want to call it how to deal with disagreement, or how to effectively overcome
Scott's grumpiness.
Yeah,
that's a joke.
You see what I'm saying?
See, I'm in a joking mood today, and I don't think you are so much.
No, she's ready to battle.
I'm trying to reel in my little jokes.
That's fine.
I learned them from you.
This is how you handle effective communication. That's fine. I actually try to meet it head on, but use passive aggressive nature.
Oh, okay. We're gonna do this. We're gonna spar a little, because I can spar.
Sparring.
Mm-hmm.
That is a great way to explain it. Yeah, when you and your significant other feel like there's some sparring going on.
Oh, I can already see the headline with some little roosters with their little.
Right.
What is that thing called? What's the little claw on the back of their legs?
Hind claw. Wife.
But if I had one, I'd slice your face right now.
Oh, the what is it called?
That they spar with.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting you off subject.
Yeah. It'll come to me in the middle of our conversation. I'm just going to spit it out. I totally lost it. But, so yeah. So what's your problem today?
I'm stuck on chickens today, because I felt like you were pecking at me. Pecking at me a little. And I think it's some outside stressors.
There were definitely some things that started the day off, certainly with me. Had missed an important meeting. And so I was kicking my own ass on that. And then my energy was I was projecting it outwards. And then you were getting frustrated with it. You were trying to be kind. And then you got a little short.
Kindness only lasts.
Well, yeah.
So long.
Yeah. And then I got cutting, and then you got cutting. And then we come in here, and our poor studio engineer is just trying to
we're a little
he's
out
playing
of sync.
half priest and half
Cutting
referee.
sounds so mean. I don't feel like we were necessarily mean to each other.
I feel like you were mean to me.
Getting. Okay. No, no, see, this is why our energy's misaligned today, because I'm just laughing at everything and not taking anything seriously. And you have a very serious heart today.
Well, this is a great opportunity to talk about, because this is happening. This happens all the time. And these little things that we were talking about yesterday was it the game Tetris? Was that is that the game?
Where the little block, you fit the little blocks together.
Yeah, with the little blocks that kind of fall in, and you build these walls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the analogy we had yesterday, just talking at home, was building a strong relationship through doing all the little things is like putting all those little blocks in place.
Mm-hmm. And then when you leave the holes,
conversely,
it's not as strong.
Building walls, right? Building walls that shut each other out, or shut down communication, or whatever. It's the same analogy, right? You drop all these little things, and next thing you're building a wall. So.
See, I was looking at it differently, though.
How were you looking at it?
I was looking at it as, like, if you left you didn't fill it in right, and you had these open holes that the wall's not as strong. You have these weak spots in it.
I've never played the game. Is that?
Well, I don't know how to play it either, honestly. I know you just build these walls. I think you want to build the walls. But I looked at it, when I was thinking about it, imagining like a relationship, if you leave these holes and you don't do these little things that keep the love alive, the topic we were supposed to talk about, that you don't create this strong foundation.
Agreed. So when you have this tenseness, like we're actually dealing with it right now. Like I honestly don't want to be here talking to you about it.
But you would be here and talking to somebody else?
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is like I don't really want to be here unpacking this and talking about it, because I was just frustrated. It was easy to just say, you know what, we'll just scrap today and do it another time. But I'm like, no, let's have this conversation because it's real. So, so I can either start or you can start, but I'd like to know from your viewpoint, your standpoint, what's been frustrating.
You. Your attitude.
Could you be a little more specific?
Your attitude. See, no, we're very direct with
No,
each
I think
other
so. Yeah,
and
yeah.
honest and like laugh about it. I mean, that's why it's not. We've gotten really good at having difficult conversations, and we don't become too defensive or combative with them. I think because of our open communication, which I think I lacked in my previous long relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And even through these times, we still show those little ways of I love you, just like you holding my hand in the car, even though you were frustrated with my little jokes.
Right. I mean, I don't feel like holding your hand right now.
Oh, well, fuck you. I don't want to hold your hand either.
But this is good, though, because, I mean...
But no, this is a real relationship. You
It
know,
is.
we get on here and we talk about all these things that we do, and,
Right.
and our relationship is so great. And our relationship is so great.
Mm-hmm.
But this is part of a great relationship. You
Mm-hmm.
have your little, you get on my nerves, you know,
Yep.
moments that you get on my nerves. I mean, I'm perfect. No, I'm teasing.
Right. Yeah.
But
It's interesting when... Well, I'll just speak for me. Whenever I get, like, frustrated or tense or spread a little thin, like, I have these little triggers. And
they have short blonde hair.
short blonde, right? And you've hit every single one of these triggers. No. So it's like I have two choices. I can continue to let it build and fester and continue to get an attitude and just push away, or I can face it head on and we can talk about it and say, hey, look, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm feeling. You know, this
Yeah,
is
and
what
funny
you're doing.
enough, the initial stressor did not start with us or our relationship, but it can unfold into tension between us because of the way we show up for the day, the way we respond to each other in the day. So I think that's why it's important to discuss these things.
Yeah, I mean, right. Today had nothing to do with us. I had missed an important business meeting through no fault of my own, but it didn't matter. I didn't
Was it
show
not
up.
your fault?
No, it wasn't your fault. But
No, I'm saying I
didn't
think it was your fault, but I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
so it didn't show up, and so that's so that's been frustrating. So this energy, because I'm frustrated with how the morning went.
It's getting on my damn nerves.
Things didn't happen the way they should
No,
have.
see, I don't know why I'm in such a little snappy.
Yeah, you've been a little shithead. So this is what we're trying to talk about. So for everyone
it's
paying attention,
there.
I want you to take this example. Like, don't let your spouse be a shithead when you're trying to be serious. So
It can be fun to be.
no,
a
so
shithead
I
every
started
now-
this morning and I was frustrated, and a lot of things didn't originate within our relationship, and I was getting. So I didn't have any patience. I was short. I was cutting, and that's the way I get. For me, I can get very cutting or very just curt with how I show up, and so I was projecting that energy. Probably still projecting it now.
You are.
And you're feeling it, and so you don't take any shit from it. You do for a little while, and then you don't, which I
Well,
love about you.
I think I give you a lot of grace because I love you a lot.
You do. And we
So
give
I
each
wouldn't
other
call
grace.
I wouldn't call it taking your shit, but I mean I knew that was bothering you today, so I was letting you have your little moment.
Yep.
But the moment's over.
So right, so maybe this is good. So let's talk about it. How do you deal with when I get in these? 'Cause this isn't the only time. There's been other times where life throws a curveball at you. I'm dealing with it, and you know how I show up. Not always great sometimes. So like, how do you handle it? How would you like to see it handled? Like, maybe from your perspective.
Well, I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but I know we've talked about communication over and over. But along with that, we've also set a strong foundation of showing each other love and how much we care about one another. So when we have these little moments, it's not a building block of resentment, or you know what I'm saying? I know the real heart of you, and if there's an outside stressor that's making you act a certain way, and I know that's not your way all the time, I can give you that little bit of grace that you need.
Yeah, I mean that's probably really key for both of us, is like always understanding the intent. Like
Right.
always knowing that your heart's in the right place, my heart's we're never intentionally trying to hurt each other. We always intentionally have the other person's best interests at heart. So being able to kind of go back to that when there's, say bad energy, but unsettled energy, that's your anchor, right? That'd be kind of like our anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we know we're on the same team. We've built that strong foundation.
So what is your default though? So now this is intriguing to me because I'm the one who initiated in today's situation, which is, the exception rather than the rule. Most of the time it's you.
Oh, okay. Here's this mean energy again.
Just teasing.
His jokes are funny, but when I fire back mine aren't. It's really interesting. And mine are much more funny.
Right. But in today's case, it was my energy that started this. And then you're having to deal and you're having to reel and you're having to adjust. And then it overcomplicates it because now we're coming in to the studio to have a conversation, which we were going to start talking about these things around love and how to keep love alive. And I mean, we were sitting here 20 minutes of video and we're like,
crickets.
This is like,
Nothing
this
nice
ain't going
to
to happen.
say
I
about
do
you.
not.
I don't remember any of the nice things you do for me.
Right. I don't want to talk about, I have no desire to be able to start talking about this topic when I'm not feeling it because it feels fake. It's not fake. It's real, but like I'm just wasn't in the headspace. And then it was just this cutting back and forth, these little jabs. I mean, let's just be honest. There was. And it's like, nah, fuck this. I'm not talking about it. So
I can jab with the best of them if I need to.
I know.
You don't like that so much whenever you're in that mood.
Nope. So how do you do it? So tell me, like, when this situation happens, what's your default? How do you react?
My default is avoidance, for sure.
Yeah.
Ignore it. Hope it goes away. But I've become better about facing it and talking about it and calling you on your shit.
Mm-hmm.
Before, when somebody was kind of shitty to me, I would just take it and try to ignore it, which only created this resentment and this anger inside me. And then it was never addressed or resolved. And so, yeah, that's my default, which is not healthy.
Yeah.
Like if you're making someone feel a certain way, or let's just say if you're like being a little hard on me because you feel bad about something that happened, I need to call you on it and not just take it. But I also, it's a balance. I do also give you a little grace because I love you. That doesn't make me a punch. I'm not saying that makes you a punching bag. Just I give you a little bit of grace to kind of work through what you're working through.
You just said something that was like so key, and I think I know a lot of us, you, me, friends of ours, family have dealt with this. And you said emotional punching bag, and oftentimes I think we've all been. I know I've been at a place where I've allowed myself to be an emotional punching bag. You should never. I don't think there's ever a case where that's okay, but we do. I know I've done it because out of guilt or whatever, feeling maybe I just needed to take it, whatever. But that's unhealthy.
Right.
But I also know, if I'm being completely honest, that my tendency, like I said earlier, is when I get really just like frustrated, I get cutting. I get curt with my speech. I get cutting, sarcastic. It's like a gift.
Tone.
Yeah, it's like a gift.
Tone is a big thing that
tone.
It's not necessarily what you say, but in the tone you say it.
Yeah.
I'm saying people in general. I'm not just saying your tone. I'm in general. That was a big one in my past. A lot of negative tone. That
not what's said, but how it's said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And body language and inflection and all that. Yeah. So I know that is okay, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's my way of release sometimes. I don't know where I learned it. I do know. I kind of grew up in a household like that. But like that's my way of release. And I'll do it unknowingly sometimes until I all of a sudden I see, in your
Till
case,
someone calls you a chicken and to quit pecking.
right, or I'll see it in your face. Maybe you feel downtrodden or hurt, and then I'm like, oh, I'll realize it. But then I'll say it's too late. That's not too late, but then like the damage is done, right? So you put the words out there and you can't take them back, and then you spend a lot of time trying to make up for it.
Well, no one's perfect. We're all a work in progress, and that's what I think we try to reiterate here is that relationships take constant work.
Mm-hmm. They do, which is exactly why I wanted us to have this conversation in the midst of feeling it, in the midst of dealing with it, because there's a right way to handle it and there's a wrong way to handle it. And, you made a really good point earlier about when I'm being an asshole, even if I don't really know I'm being an asshole, and you're being hurt or offended by it, not that you should take it, but you do tend to go back and say, okay, I know his heart's right, and I know that there's probably something underlying which is driving it. And that's key. And for us, we can always talk through it. We always talk through it. But there's a lot of people out there that this is the norm, right? It becomes this downward spiral and a cycle of whether you're bringing stuff home from work or it's a family member, they're driving all these little negativities into you, and
those things latch on like little barnacles.
They do, and
they eventually weigh you down, weigh your relationship down.
And who do they come out at? Well, they usually come out with the person you're closest to, the person you're spending the most time with,
right.
i.e. time with, i.e. your relationship.
Isn't it hunting? I think you need to go hunting.
Yeah. This is why October, November, December is so good for marriages, for those outdoors. But
I'm teasing.
No, it's fine. I thought it would be really good to unpack. So, let's talk about some positive ways to handle when there's frustration. You could put a lot of adjectives around or descriptors: bitterness, frustration, anger. Whenever there's just bad energy between you and your significant other, what are some keys, some things to think about so it doesn't fester and it doesn't continue to just grow?
Well, I feel like I already answered that. I'm throwing that back to you. Do you have some key points?
Yes. So I breaking that cycle, being aware, and again, so many things we talk about are disciplines. Starting those disciplines. For me, one of the best ways to always be in a good headspace so that I'm minimizing the chance that I'll end up in a situation like this in any given day is I take 10, 15, 20 minutes in the morning, right when I wake up, to kind of mentally prepare for my day. You hear people talk about this a lot. People talk about this all the time. I'm not talking about mentally preparing. I'm not talking about preparing my plan for the day. I'm talking about getting in a good mental state of mind. For me, it's I get quiet. I get really quiet. I actually think about, even imagine how I want my day to go. How I want my day to go with you, how I want my day to go with my family, how I want my day to go with any event or something I have on the schedule. And I kind of see it happening that way.
Did you miss that this morning?
I did. I totally missed it. I did, actually. And last couple days, we've been really busy.
Yeah.
And I got out of that habit. And I'm kind of feeling today because I wasn't prepared. I didn't prepare myself. So for me, that's the first thing is getting.
And I'm teasing. I've been poking the bear a little bit today.
Well, rightfully so. So, because I told you early on, this is how I can be. I'm not perfect, even though I know you think I am. That was a joke. And I want you to call me on my shit.
Oh, was I supposed to laugh there?
Yeah, you're supposed to laugh at that.
Oh, I missed it.
But I need that, right? I need to be checked. I need to be. I need someone who I care about and trust, and to push back and to call me out, because it helps me kind of like roll back and step back and have that perspective. So that's the first thing, getting mentally prepared. Second thing is we talk about listening, understanding. Well, I need to listen to myself, right? And be aware of the room. How would you like for me to show up in a situation like this? Like we had today. Pull my big boy pants up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I see, and that's just the difference in our personalities and coping. You like to face stuff head on, real time when it's happening. I like to kind of tuck it back, close the door behind it, let it marinate a while, and deal with it later. Almost like let it process for a while before I'm ready to face it. So I'm real good at, I can remember, my divorce going on and it being like the worst time in my life, the most stress I've ever felt. But I could totally close that door and go to work and be just fine at work and like do my job and just push through. And so sometimes I kind of expect other people to just let emotional things go immediately.
Are you saying you compartmentalize them?
Yeah, I guess so.
So when do you deal with them?
What?
When do you deal with them if you're compartmentalizing them?
Well, in the past, sometimes I never dealt with it. And I think that's when a lot of resentment and anger was harbored. So, I'm better now, I think, with you because you like to talk about it. But I have told you before I need a little bit of processing time, but we will revisit this very soon, like either that evening or the next day. And I do feel better after I unpack it rather than boxing it away in the attic to collect dust forever.
Yeah, and that comes out with personality traits, and that'll be something we talk about in the not too distant future, is about all the different personality types and how they show up. But you're right. If I know there's an issue, like I want to get in, I want to drive for results. And that's not always fair. It makes me feel better because I get in, I get to a place where, like I'll expend all this energy and I want to push and push
You're
and push.
all in. I like to take little bites and
process
each little bite is how I deal.
But I want to get in and fix it and get to, and that actually gives me energy. So that we'll drive through this and I'll want to talk about it. And when we're all done, I'm like, I feel energized. You feel like you've just been through a marathon.
Yeah.
And it doesn't set you up for success. So I'm learning we're learning how to accommodate both. We can talk about so much of it a little bit of time, and I know that you've got to take it and walk away with it, walk away from it, come back. You have to have time to internally process.
And that's what's made, I think, our relationship so strong and our love so deep, that we're through learning each other and how we take on different things. We love each other enough to understand that we're different and accept that we're different, but meet in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the key points you just reminded me of is it's okay when people are in this situation where it just feels heated. Doesn't matter what the topic is. If you're feeling heated and you feel like there's an impasse, and we like we were earlier, at least I was feeling that way. It's okay to walk away. Now, it's not okay just to walk away and not say, but it's okay to say, hey, look, we need to break. We need to change this energy. I need to step away. I need to get my head straight. I need to have a conversation with myself or whatever, to be able to come back in an effective manner. Because, we've all experienced this when you beat your head against the wall in a conversation or something like this there's a point where it becomes unproductive, right?
Well, yeah, and you really need to listen to each other and hear what the other person's saying.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're beating your head against the wall.
Mm-hmm. So typically there's always one person in a conversation that needs to step away and the other person, in this case, wants to fix it. Both people need to say, yeah, hey, let's just call a timeout, call an audible, call timeout. It's nothing personal. But we're absolutely going to come back and revisit this, and we're going to do it. It's at this time and date, set a time. So it gets resolved, and so it's not swept under the rug, because those are the little things, going back to that analogy of that wall, creates cracks in the dam, cracks in the wall.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I even feel a little better talking about this
I can
now
see
with you.
that. I feel your energy.
Yeah.
We're big energy readers too, so we can't say or have a feeling and hide it from the other.
Right.
We've both tried at certain points to hide it, and it's just like an open book with each other. We wear our hearts on our sleeve, I guess.
And I
There's
think
no
everyone
hiding
has the
it.
ability to do that if you're intentional and you're thinking, not just thinking about yourself, but you're thinking about the other person involved here, to take a minute and try to understand what they're feeling, even if they're not saying anything.
Right.
We all have the ability to see that, and then we can pivot, we can adjust. If the idea or if the intent is always to end up in a good place, and the intent is always, or the understanding is always, the other person's intent is coming from a good place, then you're more willing to give.
Right.
I don't want to say grace, but
Yeah.
room.
I agree.
So, well, I wasn't going to say it earlier today, but I'll say it now.
Oh, really?
I'm kidding.
Well, maybe I'm not ready to take it,
no.
accept it. Oh, there came out another thing.
But this is good. This is a good resolution in action. So I appreciate you being willing to do this on camera. So I love you.
I love you too.